So the first AP Top 25 poll just dropped for the upcoming season, and I just wanted to kind of go over a couple quick takeaways. It's going to be pretty quick. I'm not going to go in depth, but so the top six is Ohio State is one, then you got Oregon, Georgia, Notre Dame four, Texas five, Indiana six, and then Miami gets seven. So there were only five teams to receive first place votes, and that was Ohio State, who was ranked one, Oregon, who was ranked two, Notre Dame, who was ranked four, Indiana, who was ranked six, and then one person voted Miami for first place vote. And that's actually my biggest takeaway because those five teams got it. Not a single SEC team got a first place vote. So nobody gave Georgia one, nobody gave Texas one, and nobody below Miami got a first place vote. So um, that is like my biggest take. When I first saw this and I saw the first place votes, that really stuck out to me. That I don't know the last time this has happened where an SEC team did not get a first place vote. So that's pretty crazy. Going past number seven, because I think those seven teams, consensus, those are the top seven teams, and there's a pretty big gap in points wise between Miami and number eight, who's Texas A&M. That's also the same top seven as the coaches poll. So number eight's A&M, nine is Ole Miss, and 10 rounding out the top 10 is Oklahoma. So a trio of SEC teams right there, and I think all three of those teams, I have a lot of questions about going into the year. A&M kind of ended the year poorly last year. Ole Miss has a new coach, and for Oklahoma, I'm still not sold on Venables and Mateer. Last year was great in the first half of the year, and then he got that hand injury, and he just wasn't the same. So I think for Oklahoma, the question is going to be, can he return to that pre-injury form? We'll see, but I think all three of those teams rightfully so deserve to be high up. So then 11 through 15, we got LSU at 11, Texas Tech at 12, Alabama gets up to 13, and then BYU and USC tied in points, so technically they're both 14, but that's 14 and 15. So for USC, I think this is a year where a lot of people are starting to expect Lincoln Riley to finally get over that hump and get into the college football playoff. They have a lot of talent, especially defensively. This should be probably their best year. And last year, they kind of showed signs of being a much more well rounded team. For BYU, year after year, they've been a really good team, but they've never quite been able to beat the top guys. Last year is a good example. They went 11 and 2. Their only two losses during the regular season were both to Texas Tech. So the question is going to be, can they finally beat a team like Texas Tech, a top team, and get into the playoff? Because I think they actually do have a really good team this year. Alabama, unless I missed it, still has not named a starting quarterback. They have two good candidates, but so I'm pretty surprised that they get this high because we don't even really know who's going to be running the show. And last year, it did not feel like the same Alabama team, right? It didn't feel like they had the dominant defense with the dominant run game. They've been questionable on both fronts under DeBoer, but we'll see. Texas Tech probably has the most talent in the Big 12, and then obviously LSU brought in all those transfers, including Sam Levitt. So, and with Lane Kiffin, they should be a lot better than they were last year. So 16 through 20 is Michigan, 16, Washington 17, Penn State gets 18, SMU gets 19, and Tennessee gets 20. So Michigan obviously brought in Whittingham. I think they're going to be a lot better this year than last year, but the only thing against them is really going to be that schedule. If you went back up into the top 10, they actually play four top 10 teams, currently ranked top 10. They play Oklahoma, Oregon, Ohio State, and Indiana. So they have a very, very, very hard schedule. Washington, I'm not very high on just because, Desmond Williams in the offseason, people might forget, had that whole saga where apparently he was trying to transfer and then Washington threatened to sue him and then he ended up coming back. But that whole thing, I do wonder how that's going to settle and the relationship between quarterback and team. I just wonder how that's going to be going into the season. Penn State with Matt Campbell brought in all those transfers, and they have a very easy schedule. They basically avoided the entire top of the Big Ten, so they should be very good. And I think there's a very high chance that they end this year at the very least ranked. SMU with Kevin Jennings, should be great. I think they're the second most likely to win the ACC, and they have a very interesting team. And under Rhett Lashlee, have consistently been a 9-10 win team. Then you got Tennessee. Tennessee, we don't really know much about Tennessee in terms of their quarterback situation. It's going to be a first year starter. But I think, we've seen these Tennessee offenses. I think over the past 5 years, they've had the number one ranked offense if you go back the last five seasons. So we do know that they will at least have a very, very, very good offense. So rounding out the top 25, you got Utah at 21, Iowa at 22, Houston at 23, Louisville at 24, and Missouri all the way at 25. So for Utah, obviously a new head coach, but they are returning their same quarterback, and the O line is a little bit of a concern. They did lose two O linemen to the first round of the draft, so we'll see if they can replace them. Iowa, it'll be another new quarterback there, but if there's anything, if you've ever seen Iowa football, it really doesn't matter what their quarterback situation is. They find ways to win these ugly games, and I think this is a perfect ranking for them. They're consistently a 20 to 25 team, so we'll see if they can maybe get some good quarterback production because last year actually they actually had probably their best quarterback production they've had in quite some time. So we'll see if that can continue. Houston's 23. They're bringing back their same quarterback, head coach, and last year coming off a 10-win year, I think there's a lot of excitement for Houston this year. 24 is Louisville, bringing in a former Ohio State quarterback, Lincoln, and Jeff Brom, pretty good with quarterbacks. So we'll see if that relationship can work out between Lincoln and Brom. And then finally, 25, Missouri. I'm not very sure why Missouri keeps getting ranked 25. I'm not very high on Missouri. Like, looking at some of these other receiving votes, I'd probably have them above Missouri. But I get it. The last couple years they've been solid. But even last year, if you went and looked, they actually didn't beat a team over 500. So that finished the year 500, so I don't really get them being at this 25 spot. Some other receiving votes, Clemson was the first team out. They got 112 points, and Missouri had 117, so there's still some respect to be shown from Clemson, but I think a lot of people are just very down on Dabo and everything going on there. The team that I would point at that I'm the highest on out of these other vote getters is pretty clearly for me Pittsburgh. I'm very high on Pittsburgh coming into the year, and I think they're going to be a very good team. I don't know why so many people aren't as high on them. I would probably have them as high as 20 going into the year. And then some other teams to highlight. Um, you know, Arizona got 32 points. I think they're coming back with Noah Fafita. He's coming into I think his fourth year starting at Arizona, and their defense is going to be has continued to get better and better. And yeah, so that's the top 25. I didn't really want to make this video too long. I wanted to make it pretty quick. So it looks like we're under 8 minutes, so that's good. I would say if I had to take away anything, though, the main takeaway is that this is the first time in quite some time that I've seen no first place votes for an SEC team. So that is very crazy to me, and it kind of shows you a little bit of shift of power to the Big Ten in terms of the top of college football. So yeah, that's all I got. Keep this under 8 minutes.